Okay, welcome back. So to continue on, we want to build the transfer login script. In the last video, I showed you sort of a brief the method that I'm going to use to check to see if the login was successful or not by using the user info errors part of the array. So what we want to do is we want to leave we'll leave the else for now, because we don't want to sort of make anything too sort of out there and pretty looking. So what I'm going to do is bring that back up for a start. We're going to save this, and we're going to just put login.php. Well, bloody hell, all types. Login.php. I said all types. Thank you. And this is what we're going to use as our login form. So we want to just take that. Oopsie. Right, if we had PHP tags, and I have really got to get rid of this bleeding thing. Okay. So that's that's the original information repasted in there. Again, if is empty, user info errors, else we can just echo out login fail. So if the user's information, user's info, the errors part is empty, we can then successfully log in the player. Now, the way I'm going to do this is I'm going to store that original information into sessions. So we have username. We also have, what else do we have? We have gender. I think that's all we want to really include on here. Let's just have a quick look. Oh, it's not returning the bleeding variables, is it? Okay. Back to the API handbook. See, I made this thing and I don't even know what's given to me. Okay, obviously we also want the user ID. We've got the username and the gender. That will do us for now. User ID equals user info ID equals user info username and the gender user info gender. So once those sessions are set, we can then safely send the player to the player creation screen. Now, we will be developing a little function shortly which will basically refresh the user sessions to make sure that the player stays logged in, because obviously a standard session I think lasts about 24 minutes, depending on the PHP INI file. These can be changed, but we don't really want to store things in cookies, because if sort of someone logs off, sort of goes away, and their annoying little brother or sister comes on and starts fooling around with their account, it's very easy to get back into a game without the need to log on. Okay, so we've done that. We can say that the session variables are now set. What we need to do is set up our database. So here I have a new database set up, just called it white label, and the first thing we want to create is our character table. And that will do for now. Now we'll name it players. Now the thing we need is we will need something to hold the user ID. So if we just write this down so we don't forget, we want the user ID. Users, let's see, class. That's a class. Users HP, users strength, and for now users defense. There's only things we really need to hold. The username, you don't need to store in your database. The reason for this API, other than to sort of free up the need of registration forms, etc., is in case anything sort of changes, you can then change information with it. So if someone changes their username, it's not obviously doable, but if for whatever reason they request their username to be changed, your site will see it. The games will have the usernames changed as well to represent the new user, the new username. So that's the reason I'm not including username, gender. Obviously we need a user ID because we're referencing via user ID. So we'll go back into our database and we'll need 5 fields. The first one is the user ID. It's going to be an integer. I like to have all my integers unsigned unless I know they're going to go into negative values. I want this to be a primary key. We don't need it auto-incrementing because obviously you're not going to go from user 1, 2, 3, 4. The users will be random as and when they log on. The next one was the user's class. Now, it depends how you want to do this. You can use variable reference, integer referencing, and have another table for class. But for this tutorial, what I'm going to do is just have a varchar, and we will actually name them on the actual table. We've got the user's HP, again an integer. The user's strength and the user's defense. That's all we need. Those two are also going to be integers. Change these 3 to unsigned variables, unsigned integers. Again, we don't need to index them or have an auto increment, so we can save that. And we know these these four things is what we're going to be setting up on the character creation screen. So we can get rid of that, as we now know what we've put in here. Right. So once a user is logged in, we can then we use the header function to send the user to a new page. What we'll do is we'll just call it create char.php. It's been a long time since I've actually firstly scripted in Notepad++ and combined PHP and HTML together. My site is run off of templates, so you might have to bear with me when actually creating the screens. Might go wrong a bit, but there we go. It's just, swings and roundabouts of things, So we'll save that, and we want to start a new file. Save as, and it was called create char.php. All types, because we need to create PHP. Right, so to begin with, I'm getting really fed up with that. I want an opening, closing PHP tags, and we also want the HTML tags for our page. Oopsie. So you have our head tags. Inside our head tag we want a title, and we will just call this create character, like so. Now, I don't know if you've noticed, but I've actually named my file incorrect, so we'll just go here, and we'll come back out of here and just quickly rename it create character and reopen it. All's good. And colours have changed. Right, so the next part, we're running out of time, is I'm just going to reset these session variables. Just, oopsie, at the top here. One thing I did forget on here is obviously the session start. We need to start a session in order to use the sessions. So I'm just going to, my mouse will stay under control. Just quickly reset these sessions, just so this, they're constantly set. And what I'll do is I'll come back shortly, and we'll go through the next part.